Grafton is actually led by two females, Yvonne and Sheila, so I find them quite inspiring.
Oh, Jenna Marbles, definitely 100%. I love her. I know she's not a comedian, but she's just really funny, and she doesn't necessarily have to be like, well, hey, look at me, I'm a woman and I can also be funny.
Like, I look up to someone like Joan Jett so much. She's such an influence to me, just the fact that she just kept going, she kept ploughing on. She didn't care about anything, what anyone has to say.
My name is Niamh Hurley. I'm a third year architecture student and I'm 20 years old.
Okay, my name is Georgia O'Gorman, I'm 19 and I'm a comedian.
Hi, my name is Julia Pavlak. I am 21 years old. I am a student here at the School of Music. I'm a second year pop degree and I'm in a band called Red Sun Alert. So after releasing Live, Laugh, Love, which was kind of, it was a song aimed at women empowerment and just trying to put a light on the women that we have here in Cork, and that there is a great scene of just artistic, creative women around, and we are here and we have a voice. That was kind of purpose of the video, and what the song is about is just about living your life and doing your thing and just not caring about what anyone has to say. It definitely got a mixed reaction. There was some really, really good feedback. There was some feedback that certain people didn't necessarily agree with my point of view and felt that it was outdated, I suppose you could say. I mean, obviously you're entitled to whatever you want to think about it, but the fact that you think it's outdated and not worth fighting for, I feel like that's a clear point that it's not, you know, that we still need to have this fight and we still need to push through that. We want equality because it's still there, you know, there's still an issue. We're still not seen as just musicians. Like the fact that someone, when they see a gig and they're like, oh yeah, she's a class guitarist and she's a girl, you know, like that shouldn't be a thing. It's just she's a class guitarist. Like it shouldn't have to be trying to underline the fact that my gender plays a role in that.
There were about 20 people in an architecture firm that I was working at over the summer, and out of that 20 there was about 3 women, and I was an intern, so it was kind of a bit of a shock to me that there was such a gender imbalance in the firm compared to the course.
In CIT and around in the Cork scene in general, it's just me that's really consistent. I think a lot of the women are in like Dublin and places, but that's because just population-wise in Dublin there's more women. But yeah, it is really just me at the moment.
So definitely in the pop degree, I feel like every year has like 1 or 2 instrumentalists that are women, which obviously it's not the popular choice for women, I suppose. But there definitely is more female vocalists than anything. In my own year, in second year, there's only myself and my best friend, Darian O'Shea. I mean, it's fine, like I'm not saying this as a, oh yeah, I'm a woman, I mean competition, but it would be nice to see more. And I know that a few years, I mean the year above us has Kate Dunley on drums, and then fourth year there's Caoimhe Trant, and I know the new first year they have Molly, and yeah, I think it's quite funny that I can literally name these girls like on my hand, like and just count them. There's definitely not a lot, and there really isn't an even cut, but I think we're becoming more open-minded and we should just encourage women more to pick up instruments, because I feel like that's the biggest issue. There's just no encouragement in that sector.
So my hireability, I suppose, post-college and even during college when you want to get internships over the summer, a lot of that is assessed through portfolio. So it's quite interesting to collate your work and present that in front of someone, and we're often told that it's best to go in person. So even though you have this body of work of yours that literally summarises exactly what you've done, you still have to present it as a person and have that personality, I suppose that go-getter personality that not everyone is, I suppose, encouraged to.
So the issue of kind of female-fronted urges bands with females in general, I think it comes from the fact that women aren't necessarily encouraged to do it. Obviously we see more and more of it now because there's just, there's more of an interest, I guess, and we're more open-minded to other genders kind of taking on things that they're not necessarily meant to. I mean, in reality, heavy music isn't necessarily feminine, whatever feminine may be described as, but it's definitely becoming better. Like before, even when growing up, I did see an issue when I just felt discouraged by other lads, I suppose, around in my local scene.
I think male comedians can do mediocre and get a way better response than the female comedian really have to try. Like people have more. If you're a male comedian and you are mediocre, people still go, oh yeah, you're funny. But if you're a female comedian, you kind of have to work twice as hard to be considered funny enough.
The biggest issue, really, I think it's quite funny, is as a girl growing up listening to music, there's something about lads just coming up to you and questioning your knowledge about bands and music. It's just really funny, what you're saying. Oh, I really like, I don't know, example band, and then someone will be like, name 3 albums or 3 best songs and whatever by this band, and it's really, really annoying. And I feel like a lot of girls just kind of go, all right, nah, I'm Naval, which is totally fair.
Oh, I got asked before if I studied interior architecture, and personally, there's nothing against it, but I just remember being really insulted because I was kind of like, hello, I study architecture. Do you not think I could do both, maybe?
There's been a couple of times, but I think I have kind of tough skin, so it doesn't really bother me. Literally last Monday, I was the only woman comedian performing, and I was the only woman in the audience. And there was a couple of comedians who, were making jokes that they were single or whatever, and they would turn to me and then start reading out their phone numbers and stuff. Which that's funny, but at the same time, I don't know if that would happen if it was the other way around. I don't know.
Starting out, it's really, really hard to actually get people to respect you and see you as an equal because you're a woman, and that shouldn't be a thing. If I want to play music, I want to play music. But it definitely did happen before when you'd ask lads and say, oh, let's have a jam, whatever, and they'll just kind of dismiss you and be like, yeah, haha, no.
One of the recent dinners I went on for a guest lecture, actually, I suppose he felt very self-conscious that I was the only female there. I didn't even notice a difference because I'm so used to my committee members that I didn't even notice it. And he was like, oh, I was about to say ladies first, and I was like, it didn't even come across that would be a problem, until he said it, so he almost made it a problem.
I've only been doing comedy since August, and I got booked for a professional gig a while ago, a few weeks ago, and one of the lads made a comment that they just gave it to me because I was a woman, and that that they just wanted to promote women or whatever, even though I've been working really hard and I can kind of I think that really hurt my feelings. I pretended just oh yeah, whatever, you're just jealous, but yeah, that was one of the worst things I've got.
The fact that someone thought that us winning was because of my sex appeal, and as I heard someone in the crowd say, or one of the comments was, oh, they only won because she had her tits out. That actually really hurts, and that's not what we're about. But obviously, music can be sexy, I think. But I don't want someone to look at me as a sex object, Obviously, I want to be treated as a musician, and it's not my fault that I have boobs.
As part of the society, I organise guest lectures to come and give talks in the school. So I often invite a lot of international and national architects. And when looking for recommendations from my lecturers about who to invite, the number of women asked was quite limited, and the women that were asked were the architects, which I suppose it's very hard to get these women in because they're giving talks to other female architecture students around the world.
I think just when you're on stage and the reaction that you see, because I love seeing the mixture of genders in the crowd when we play, especially in Cork. It's a very much a student crowd that we get, and it's great to see all the young people, and I love seeing girls at the front there. But sometimes the funny reactions you get from the lads, you know, when, I don't know, there's a few songs, like for example we do a cover of Sabotage, and we do a breakdown, and it's quite an intense scream for me, I suppose. So it's quite a funny reaction sometimes. Lads are just like, oh my god, what? So it's definitely a funny one. But yeah, I think it's more the facial features there. They kind of just look at me like, what is this? So yeah, that kind of happens sometimes.
Women architects weren't talked about until, I suppose, recently in the last 100 years. Like Eileen Gray was not appreciated during the time when Corbusier was, I suppose, thrown up high and acknowledged for all his works, but meanwhile he was known to not be the nicest of people to exist. So yeah.
Taylor Thompson, I'm a really big fan of her. And she's done Conan and stuff, but whenever I'm talking to people, they never seem to have heard of her at all. And Aisling Bea is an Irish comedian, and she's getting recognition now, but still, even when we're talking about our favourite comedians, nobody will say Aisling Bea, even though she's hilarious. Dina Hashem, she's a female comedian and she's Muslim as well. She's absolutely hilarious, and she's won like loads of different competitions in New York, but she's still, nobody really has seemed to have heard of her.
Right now, there's a lot of new bands happening, especially Mossy. They're just a brand new band that you should all have a look at. They're going to be releasing stuff very soon, and I love them so much. Emma McGuire is just the sexiest female alive. She's unbelievable. She's fucking class at what she does. Please check her out. Pretty Happy are another band that are just so much energy. Abby is just amazing, and she just has all this buzz inside of her, and it all just comes out on stage, and I just love seeing it. You know, she just gives everything in every performance I've ever seen. But to myself now, when I'm thinking bands, there's one band that really stood out to me. They're actually a Belfast band. They're a ska band. They're called Swall Monkey, and you should all look them up. They're fantastic. Their live show is just incredible, and the music is just so fun. Swall Monkey, please remember them, because I love them. And I really want them to come here to Cork because they're great. And yes, we should make that happen.
I suppose my message for anybody who wants to study architecture is like, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go into it. It's not as male dominated as you'd think. And even then, that shouldn't stall you.
One thing I can say to you girls is just do it, and fuck what anyone has to say, because they're going to say shit. Just fuck them. Just do it. Just do your thing if you think that you can, and if you think that you want to, just do it.
Like, definitely, like, do it. It's amazing. Like, I wish I had started sooner. Like, it's such an adrenaline rush, and it's such a high. And like, once you get the bug of it, basically, you can't stop. Like, even if I go a week without doing a show, I'm like itching to get back up there. It's amazing. Definitely do it. Don't let the idea of like that, oh, you're a woman, that you can't do it, because you're just as funny as the lads. Like,
it's getting better. We're getting there. There's still a bit of work to be done, but we're getting there.
It's something you shouldn't be afraid of. If it's your dream, go for it. Why wouldn't you?